All right, a good morning, everyone, from wherever you may be. Maybe it's afternoon, I'm not sure, but I'm here and I'm blessed to be present before all of you. So, thank you so much. Like you may already see here or may have heard, my name is Rowan Higgins, or as they call me on the creative stage, Blue River. First, I want to thank Seneca and the Building Better Students team for having me, and most importantly, for each and every one of you guys for showing up on this beautiful Saturday. So I'm really excited about our time today, and I'm excited what I get to share with you. So first, I'm going to ask you guys a very important question. Why are you here? Why did you take the time to jump on this presentation? Was it to level up, to just connect with your friends, or maybe you like Zoom? I'm not sure, but I'm really hoping nobody forced you, or but they encourage you that you just take a moment to absorb everything today. So for whatever reason you landed here on this planet, in this Zoom, I am just hoping that you leave activated, that you're ready to take charge, and you move beyond inspiration. You move towards finding your blueprint to stand up, to speak out, to make a difference in the world. You might be here because you want or feel a need to change your situation, or maybe you're questioning what's next. Maybe you even have a small burning desire to stand out from everyone else. Well, let's flip the script together. All right. So here you see, we're going to be covering different things that is about your blueprint, how to create how to elevate effect around you. So, see, this is messing up here, but I hope you see it clearly. On my end, I'm not seeing it, but basically, it's my manifesto. So, I'm going to keep it real. One thing about having my personal message is about keeping it 100. So I'm going to be like, good morning, what's poppin', wagwan. And to those of you guys heard the last few words, you just might have figured out that my roots are Jamaican. But I was born in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So if you've never heard about a jerk poutine, I'm that person right here. All right. So this keynote's not going to be regular. The speech is not going to be regular. It's not a lecture. I want you guys to feel like we're engaging and hear my message. What is my message? First, you need to find your North Star. Understand your why. In French, we call it ton raison d'être, your reason for living or being. I'm not here to share my accolades, how much money I make, where I've traveled, and all that good stuff, because my biggest success is asking, seeking, knocking on doors, finding out what drama. Coming from drama, that is a success in itself. All right. So it's about solving problems and connecting others and standing in the gap. And that is really what I do for a living. So before I get into it, I'm going to tell you a little story and what we call a breakthrough, right? So it started in the streets of New York. There's this woman, this mother. She's found at 3 in the morning walking on concrete streets in New York, barefoot with her kids. So just imagine that red and blue lights flashing. Boop, boop. Police is speaking to this woman, trying to calm her down. She's in a frenzy, and her little baby is crying. The toddler is crying and tired and confused as well. And from there, the police has to figure out where she has family. And these little children's family members from Canada came through, and that was it. They were just doing okay, getting a lot of licks. In Jamaican, them call it beats and licks. They were just going through it over and over and over. And the toddler, as she's going through, her different schools and hearing her family, they just kept pushing her down. The elementary teachers are saying, you're not going to make it past 16. Her social worker said, you have 10% chance of having a mental illness just like your mom, who has schizophrenia. It's a mental illness called schizophrenia. And her own family said, you look just like your father. Whatless, you are not going to be anybody. You look just like your daddy. Man, imagine what this little girl felt. To them, she equaled nothing. The guidance counselor at her school, who's supposed to help her figure out her dreams and her career, asked her, what do you want to be? She said, I want to be an architect. Well, you're not good in math. You would never be a good architect. And this little girl started to doubt herself and she ended up having something they call math anxiety. And then she said, well, I want to be an artist. Well, you can't make money in art. So she said, I'll just be a counselor and be like everyone else in my field. and that was to, be a nurse. So when she went to college and tried to get some money to support herself, because at this point she was in foster care, her foster mother passed away, and she needed money, and they said, you should quit and go on welfare. This young lady who had ADHD, fared poorly academically, was kicked out from different homes, ended up homeless on the streets. And now she even gets to college and they're saying, you cannot make it. Hanging with the wrong friends, just staying up late at night, losing sleep. And how does she get through? Well, let me tell you, I can tell you firsthand because that little girl's name is Rowan Higgins. Yep, that's me. And even though I wasn't good at math, y'all, the story didn't add up. Yes, it's in my DNA to look just like my father. I had 10% chance of having a mental illness and I still made it past the age of 16. These people try to subtract my purpose based on the destiny that they set for me. Guys, what they didn't know is I believed and knew I was greater than my situation. I ended up graduating from that same college I was told that I should go on welfare. I ended up being hired by the same schools that said you're going to be dead at 16. How is that possible? The same place where the social worker told me you're going to have a mental illness, I got hired by them too. And that wasn't intentional. They came out to me. So it's so funny how life has a full circle. I knew that failure was not part of the equation. You see, even though I was horrible at math, I caught on. I caught on that they could not subtract my purpose. I am a believer that I was here for a purpose. So I didn't let their limited vision cloud my own. I just kept going step by step, brick by brick. So I want you to know that if you have any labels that people try to call you, whether you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're fat, you're skinny, you have anxiety, you're depressed, all these labels, you are greater than the things that they try to tell you. You might have a learning disability. You might have autism. You might have Tourette syndrome, whatever that might be. We are not the challenges, and we're not going to let the obstacles stop us from being the greatest we can. So when I speak about elevating your message, you have to know what your breakthrough point is. And you may not have had it. Some of you guys may have lost a loved one. Some of you guys may have gone through a move. Some of you guys may have had a fire. It could be different things, even losing a pet. Sometimes people just laugh at those things, but they're a big transition in our lives. So the butterfly effect, as you see here, is a small change in initial conditions in the weather that created a significantly different outcome. So you might know it as, some of us, we know it as like this movie, it's old school movie, right? But for me, when I learned about the butterfly effect, it was like the butterfly's one wingspan, just like one flap, can affect the weather in another country, in another continent, and cause a tornado. And that's how I learned it when I was a little kid. And as I got older, I said, I want to create a different effect. What's one thing that I could do to make a difference? If someone's bullying someone, what can I do to make a difference? If someone's hungry, what can I do to make a difference? What's that one flap that I can do to create a big outcome somewhere else? And that's what my message is about today. I really want you guys to dig deep, look at what your gifts are, what makes you stand out, right, from others, identifying your values. Sometimes you'll be like, oh, I may be too young for that. But we all have values because your parents have instilled it in you. We all have values because society has tried to instill it in us. But you have to figure out, what are the things that matter to me? And if you can't figure out what those positive values are, think about what makes you mad. If somebody steps on your shoes, are you right away like, oh, that's disrespect? You didn't hold the door. You didn't say thank you. It might be respect. That is your core value. If you feel like you're such a grateful person, and that's the thing that leads your heart, maybe your top value is gratitude. So it may be interesting, and you could even look up a value list online and circle the ones. If you've just like mentally circle, I'm like, okay, those are the values that matter most to me, because my value is gratitude and respect. And that has helped me navigate in the world and connect with amazing people because I'm grateful and I'm about respecting myself, others, and my environment. And that's where I make an impact. Maybe your values is not the main thing. And maybe you don't know your why. Why am I here? Even right now, today in this presentation. But think about your North Star or your guiding words. You can even think of it as a compass. New Year's, some people pick one word. I pick three. I have the word anchor. Sometimes it's focus. Sometimes it's connection. Who can I connect with? This year, it was alignment. I want to make sure everything I do is in alignment with my values, with my purpose, with my vision and my mission to connect with other people. I'm about connecting and supporting. And even when I try to go away from that course, people see it in you. So sometimes you need to ask not just regular friends or a regular teacher, but somebody you believe has your best interests. And it may be difficult at your age to figure out who that is, who's genuine, who's authentic, who's looking out for your best interests. Because you will know when you're at your lowest who's really there for you, who's speaking life into you. So, first things first, I just want you guys to show up. This is how we design our map for life. Show up. Even when you feel down, even you feel like you're at the end of the line, you're like, man, bump this. Show up anyway. You forgot your uniform for practice? Show up anyway. Show the coach you still made it. You lost something, even a job interview, they're saying, hey, I need you to show up, and you're late. Don't give up on that bus and turn back. Show up anyway. All right? I want you to magnify the things that matter. When in your head you feel stuck, you're like, you know what? At least I'm alive. Oh, my parents, they get on my nerves. This teacher, she hates me. You know what? At least I'm at a school that they accepted me here, right? Even when you don't feel accepted, even when you feel isolated, even when you feel alone, I want you to speak life to yourself, okay? And one of the biggest things that I can tell you has helped me get far is looking at my vision. What do I mean by that? Some of you guys may have heard of a vision board. Some of you journal or color what you would like to be. Some of you guys may be so grounded, I'm not there yet, where you can have the power of visualization, where you close your eyes and say, this is where I want to be. I want to be the first person in my family to graduate from university. I want to be the first person that moves out of the hood and gets into real estate. I want to be a YouTube influencer. Whatever it is, I want to design games. I want you to visualize that, draw that, write that, speak that. So we need to write the vision and make it so plain and clear. And whatever you do to ground yourself in that, some people just keep saying affirmations and speak life into themselves. Other people, they pray and they meditate. Figure what it is and just show up and faith it till you make it. I know you guys have heard the expression, fake it till you make it, but I'm going to tell you, faith it till you make it. All right? And last, how to make a real effect is serving and making real relationships. Yes, I can spell, y'all, okay? But I purposely, intentionally spelled it real relationships. So if you have a coach that you know is looking out for you, you keep that connection and find a way. Hey, coach, how can I help the team? A teacher, how can I help this class? You know, I may be getting bad marks, but how can I be better? And help others be better too. When you look out for others, you will go so far. And I know this last year and a half has been tough. It's been crazy. There's no words to describe what you guys have gone through. Yes, I went through it, but I'm not of your generation. I've never been impacted by something like this. And many of us have never seen this in our lifetime. And you guys had to go through school. But you're here and you made it. And for that, you got to pat yourself on the back or pop that collar. So speak life into yourself. Make those declarations and affirmations. I need you to find a time to take care of you. Okay? So even though I'm speaking about, how to make others better, first you got to take care of you. You got to pour into yourself the right words. Get that download. If you need to listen to some speakers, maybe E.T., Jeremy Anderson, Inky, they got they got YouTube pages. Some of them are on Spotify, and just get motivated. But you got to start that in the day before you take up your phone and start sliding on social media and filling yourself up with things that are not giving you life. They're actually taking away your power, saying, I want you to shop for this, get these Jordans. I want you to do this. You got to travel here. You got to look like this. Pour into yourself first before you connect with the outside world. And visualize it. Write that vision, make it plain. And that is when you get to start to shape yourself and know where you're going. All right? So this is a huge one. Self-care is a love language. I want you guys to take care of you. To be better out in the world, you got to condition that mind, that body, that spirit, right? You got to get involved, get engaged, and stay ready. What do I mean by self-care? I purposely left the rest of it blank. Because for every person it's different. For me, it's walking in nature. Years ago, it was eating properly. 2 months ago, it's drinking more water. For you, it might be listening to different type of music, and make sure you're not watching violent movies. You have to know what works for you. And that is what I'm impressing on you guys today, is to take care of yourself and learn to set boundaries. If something doesn't feel right, reverse. If someone's asking you to do something you don't feel comfortable, say, I'll get back to you. And learn it now. Hey, let me check my agenda. And people are like, oh, what you ain't got a life? Come on, nah. Let me get back to you. I'm going to check with my parents. Find that excuse that's going to give you time to see if you have the bandwidth to commit to all these different things. Because young people, you want to be in sports, you want to have a social life, you got papers due. We want to do it all. But take your time and make sure that this is where you want to be. All right? And one of the things that it was so powerful to me when I heard this quote, no is a full sentence. What does that even mean? I knew what it meant. No is a full sentence, because usually we say, no, I can't because, well, my mom, my grandma, and we find all these excuses. But no is a full sentence, meaning don't even feel the need to explain yourself if you can't commit to something. We need to commit to what is a priority, which is our health, our schoolwork or your job, your family, your loved ones, and then the other things. Okay? So that's very important. So remember that no is a full sentence, and that's your tool to climb. And I said the person that wrote that is somebody's mama, because mamas and pops do, they give some credit. So I just said somebody's mama because I have no idea who wrote it. All right. So I'm putting craft your message, and this is really about your vision, where you want to go. Every company has a mission statement. People have a slogan. I want you to start crafting what's your message. Everyone has a message. The greatest companies have a message, right? You remember McDonald's, Burger King, they all have a slogan that you remember for life. So learn to find out what's your message. I know for me, I love elevating others all day. I love helping them connect. It is my mission to make sure people feel like they belong. From young, I'm like, I hated seeing people bully others. And guess what I do for a living? Bullies are being brought to my office, right? So many years later. So it's so important to craft that message. And I want you guys to really think about that. And here's a key. Here's a trick that you guys can do. Checking the time quick. I want you to go out and ask people, yo, what do you think my superpower is? Give me 3 of my strongest superpowers. Give me 3 of my gifts. If you think it's corny to say superpowers, I'm a Marvel fan, y'all. So superpowers is the word, because you guys all have gifts. And I want you to tap into what that is. And once you figure out that gift, and I don't mean art or sports, it could be the gift of communication, the gift of hearing others, seeing others, being present, connecting others. Figure out what that gift is. Oh, you're such a good listener. You know what I mean? So that's very important for each and every one of us to figure out what our personal message is. And the last thing I will say is to claim your space. Meaning, do not feel that, oh, you have to small up yourself or size down because, well, that's not really me. I don't want people to think I'm too big or I'm showing off. Claim your space. You were born for a reason. You were born for such a bigger purpose that you have no idea what that is. But when you see that table that chair at the table, and somebody says, "Oh, this is your seat," don't say, "No, it's okay. I'll just stand over here." No, take the seat. Even if you have no idea what's your purpose or why you're even around that table. Okay? And this is the biggest one for me. Impact over reward. Some of you might have heard the quote, impact over money. I say reward because we all have, some of us may not be looking for money. It may be the acknowledgement, or you want your parent to validate you. You want people to see you or your friends to like big you up and say, yo, props. But I am telling you, once you make an impact, the reward comes that much more. It's so much more sweeter. So I'm just going to close and go right to here. This is something, if you guys can screenshot this, it's very important. And this is a book called What Really Works. And when I first saw this 10 years ago, it was just really about how do these different elements or subjects, if you will, work together. Faith, family and friends, finances, fitness, fun, and future. So there's 7, but I put 6 box because to me, I didn't have family really growing up. My friends were my family, I should say it that way, right? I use this as my guide every morning. How can I grow in my faith? How can I help my family and friends be better? How can I be better in my fitness? How can I be better with money? And how can I make my future better? So every day, not just weekly, not just, as they say in business, quarterly. We split the year in four. It's Q1 to Q4. Not just weekly, but every day. This is part of my mantra. This is part of my prayer. And then at night I say, well, how did I shape up with my family? Did I work out? And this is my checklist. You guys can do different things. You could say leisure, which is like what I like to do, or business, or friends, relationships. You can call it what you want. But when I saw this in a book, it was over. And this is what I use as my mental check. And there's one I didn't say: fun. A lot of us, when you get older, we drop off the map when it comes to fun. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that makes children bold when you ask them what they want to do in life, they tell you what? I want to be a fireman. I want to be a policeman like my daddy. I want to be a YouTuber. Every kid usually knows. Very rarely, and I worked with kids for over 20 years, do kids say, I don't know? Very rarely. I actually have never heard it. But as we get older in adolescent years, we just lose what we call imagination. It starts to die out. Because in our school system, a lot of the times we're just learning in a system and we don't have the chance to explore. Depends on what school you go to. But I work in the school system, I know. That's why it's important in your alone time that you're not just hanging, but you're learning to explore. Explore your neighborhood, have great conversations with people, learn to find out what your hobbies are, try different things, paint, okay, you suck, so what, next, draw. It's just the fact that you're trying and you're exploring. Make sure you're having fun in whatever sport it is, in whatever trip. Tell your family, hey, okay, it may have been quarantine, but we could go hiking. We can go to water rafting. Try new things. Have fun. And if you're washing dishes and you don't want to do it, have fun doing it. Find a way to make everything fun, because this helps your creative juices going. And once you're creative, you find flow. And once you find flow, you know that you are meant to be here. It is so important to find flow because you forget that, things are not so boring anymore. So I will just let you know that I am an educator. I saved it for last on purpose. I've been an educator for so long. I counsel kids. I'm a crisis interventionist, a life coach. And all I do, no matter what job titles I have, I just help people elevate every day. And I love doing it and I'm passionate about it. And I get to speak before you because I survived. I overcame the labels that people told me, the labels that people called me. You see the labels on your clothes, leave it for the laundry. Straight, real talk. You are not the labels that you even dub yourself. Sometimes we say, I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I used to call myself a procrastinator for 30 something years. That don't make sense. And I'm helping people, but I'm still labeling myself because that's what society tells you to do. But if you choose to call yourself anything, tell yourself, I am awesome. I am great. I'm amazing. I'm here to rise and thrive, not just survive, but to thrive. I'm here to be better, a better student, to build others, to elevate effect. And I'm going to close with my piece, divine intervention. I pray for an intervention so divine. When I heard you were robbed of your conscious, your intelligent mind, uttering words that appear to have no comprehensive meaning but to open ears, you're just expressing your mixed feelings, hearing voices when no one has even spoken, in your head provoking from breathing, no escaping. Can't close the doors for one quiet moment because verbal attacks keep coming back. I reject the token. I see you on bended knees asking for atonement, thinking you've done wrong, sentenced to this cruel punishment, trapped in your own mind like a detained in detention. Breaking out just became your main intention, redemption. I've come to the realization you're a beautiful person with a purpose. Your talents are so profusely stumbling over your confusion, which the devil left behind, act as rude intrusion. Heavenly Father, please provide a resolution. I pray this uninvited guest will leave when the sun sets, and when it rises over your horizon, you'll be blessed, and darkness ceases to exist, evil under arrest. Lift your head up, let me heal this child with a kiss. How many of us have taken the time out to listen to a soul who's been trapped between the walls of depression? How many of us reach out with compassion and realize shades of madness is camouflage intelligence? How many of us has been told to go for a psychological assessment because we do not conform to the norms of society? Oh, baby love, I overstand your madness because I heard you in a corner crying, singing. This is insanity, living with split personality, crazy, seeing everybody so shady. How come everyone is ignoring me? Is this a conspiracy? Free your mind. Free your mind. Free your mind. Free. Free your mind. Free your mind. Free your mind. Remember to keep building better. Blessings and thank you for showing up.